Hey everyone out there, this is Seto Kaiba from your Yu-Gi-Oh! Chat channel, and today for you guys, I'm going to profile my Gadget deck. I've been playing Gadget since, I guess you could say, since May of 2013. I played them online before that, but I just really didn't want to, I couldn't profile the deck because I couldn't find a build that I personally liked. One that was built to I could build to my playing style. So I tweaked with the deck, play with the deck, made the deck my own. Uh, this honestly can say, guys, that I've looked at a whole bunch of different gadget builds online on YouTube when I was doing research for the deck and talking to my friends about how they play their gadget decks and stuff like that. But honestly, I can say no two gadget builds are the same. Very rarely do you find two gadget builds that run the same. Some people prefer to play the three gadget builds. Some people prefer two gadgets. There's different types of gadget builds for different types of decks. Me personally, I like playing the two gadget build. If you run out of resources you feel like, you can make Dagusto Emerald and put your gadgets back in your deck so you can reuse them. The deck is very good. It does what gadgets do best, spam level 4 monsters, but it also has a little different type of tech cards I put into the deck to make it my own type of deck. I put some synchro tuners in it, so the deck can spam level 4s, make level 7 exceeds too, and synchro level 8 synchro monsters. So let's get to the deck profile, guys, and I'll talk about it as I go through it. So like I said, I prefer the two gadget build, guys. So two red gadgets, two green gadgets, and two yellow gadgets. The stoplight, whatever you want to call it, red, green, and yellow. I just like the gadgets at two because when Ultimate Offering got banned, three gadgets just got a little bit too cloggy, and some people that say they run three gadgets, they run three gadgets because they feel like they run out of resources. I feel like if you're going to do that, run Dagusto Emerald because I run it, but I run Dagusto Emerald, but you can just reuse your resources and put them back in the deck and, go through them again. Next, we have three Machina Gear Frame, guys. Searches your Machina Fortress, your Machina Cannon, stuff like that. It's 18 beat stick. You can use its attach its union effect if you want to. Plus, don't forget that Machina Gear Frame has 0 attack. That will come into play later, guys. But we run 3 Machina Gear Frame, 2 Machina Fortress. I thought since Redox got hit down to 1, I may run 3 of these, but I'm kind of on the fence about it. I'm just play testing, but for right now, I'm going to still run 2 Machina Fortress. Very good card. Overall, it's a great boss monster. Then you have the 1 Machina Cannon, so you can get the Machina Fortress out. Once in a blue moon, I do get his effect off, though. Once in a blue moon, so yeah. 3 Tinplate Goldfish, guys. Some people say it's obligatory. I still think it's a great card. Some people don't like running 3 because they say it gets effect failure too much. Personally, I don't see anything wrong with Tinplate Goldfish. Plus, actually, one other thing it does for gadgets is it's a 2000 defender too. So if you don't have a gadget in hand, you don't have something, and your back's up against the wall, you can just put down a 2000 defender. 3 Kage Tokage, it just helps that level 4 spam go along. Yes, Shockmaster's not a thing no more, so you can't go, Kage Tokage, Tinplate Goldfish, get a gadget out, go Kage Tokage. But you still can do a whole bunch of other things still with Kage. And believe me, I'll explain, this deck really has plays upon plays. Now for my own personal tech in the deck is 2 Mass Charmeleons along with 2 Photon Thrashers. Now, at first you may say, well, why the heck would you put tuners in, a gadget deck? Isn't their main focus, spamming level 4s, getting Big Eye out, Drago Sack, stuff like that? Yes, that is all true. But me, for a personal playing style, it gives me so many more options for the deck than just spamming level 4s and going for level 7 exceeds. Along with Machina Gear Frame over here, I have 3 Machina Gear Frame and 2 Photon Thrashers. Okay, so that means I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 targets. I have 5 targets in total. Okay, plus Machina Mass Charmeleon can be searched out with King of the Feral Imps, which this deck is just amazing with King of the Feral Imps. But you can go King of the Feral Imps, search Mass Charmeleon, and if you went Photon Thrasher Gadget, you just detach the Photon Thrasher and search the Mass Charmeleon, and you're all set up for next turn for a play right there. That's not even talking about if you already had a Tinplate Goldfish, a Kage Tokage in hand, and another gadget in hand. This deck, specifically this deck, I've noticed, it just creates so much hand advantage that you can just, you're going to have plays for days. And if you start running out of resources, you can just go Dagusto Emerald, because, which I'll explain later when the correct time to go into that. But it's a little tech-in I tried for, Master Charmeleon with 2 Photon Thrashers along with the 3 gear frame. It works beautifully. Photon Thrasher also helps out with the rank 4 spam and just good stuff like that. So it works out very well. You may say, well, does this mess up with Machina Fortress? Honestly, I can say that it really doesn't mess up with the funk of the deck. 2 Tragodia just comes in handy because you're generating so much hand advantage. He can become a wall. He can become an attacker. He can be used for rank 7 exceeds. There's a whole bunch of things Tragodia can be used for. And he just works very well in the deck because, like I said, you're generating hand advantage. And finally, 1 Redox of Boulders. That's the last monster we have in the deck. He still comes in handy, especially if you're going to reborn a fortress or something of that nature. 2 Mystical Space Typhoons. I was thinking about Lance, but MST works better in this deck because I'm more afraid of somebody fiendish chaining my monsters and stopping their effects from going off, so I can chain MST. 2 Smashing Ground. I'm trying this out right now because Smashing Ground does not target, and there's a lot running around in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a lot of monsters that say you can't target this monster. Smashing Ground doesn't target, so it comes in handy. And plus, it's just a good spell card, and I don't have to worry about getting MST'd with this. So it's just my player preference. You don't have to run it. You could run 2 Deep Prisons if you want to. For your 1F spells, you have 1 Book of Moon and 1 Dark Hole. Just 2 good staple spell cards, I feel like. For traps, my trap lineup is a little bit different. You run 2 Mirror Forces. You can run 2 Deep Prisons if you wish. 2 Fiendish Chain. I love Fiendish Chain. Comes in handy a lot. 1 Breakthrough Skill, because I only own 1 Breakthrough Skill, but 1 seems to be good enough, and it's kind of like Effect Failure. You can, instead of running 2 Effect Failures, I can run 2 Breakthrough Skills, and if it gets MST'd, I still can use the effect. If I activate it, I can use it again in the graveyard by banishing it. So it comes in hand a lot. For 1F traps, 1 Compulse, 1 Bottomless, 1 Torrential, and finally 1 Solemn Warning. And that's the trap lineup, guys. For the extra deck, number 11 Big Eye. I did not buy Big Eye. I got it out of a Hanzo tin over a year ago, back when Big Eye was like $10. So I didn't pay for a $45 Big Eye. 1 Big Eye, 1 number 74 Master of Keyblades. I do not have a Dragossack. I'm not going to pay a lot for a Dragossack, so Master of Keyblades comes in handy as a replacement for Dragossack. I still, actually, you'd be surprised how much the deck can still make level 7 exceeds. 2 Gear X, very good card, definitely run 2 of. Just adds a +1 when you search off it. And 1 Dagusto Emerald. Now let me just take a second and explain about Dagusto Emerald and this deck. A lot of times this deck is going to come into a point when you're dueling, especially in duels that last maybe a long time, prolonged duels. You're going to come to a point in the game where you're going to want to make Dagusto Emerald, and usually the optimum time, and I can honestly say from playing this deck a long time, that you're going to come to a point in the game where it's going to slow down. Both of you are kind of going to be at a stalemate, and you're going to have 3 gadgets engraved, and you're just going to want to make Dagusto Emerald and get its effect off so you can put your gadgets back in deck and draw 1 card. There's always going to be a time in the duel that happens. About 85 to 90% of the time, I always encounter that when the duel slows down, he doesn't really have a play, I have a play that I can make a level 4, I make Dagusto Emerald, add resources back to deck, like the gadgets, whatever, and I can continue on with the game. So there's always going to be a point you can make Dagusto. 1 Lavava Chain, just testing him out still. He still comes in handy. 1 Gagaga Cowboy. Also, Lavava Chain can be useful if you want to make get Master Charmeleon. If you had a Photon Thrasher, you detach the Photon Thrasher, get Master Charmeleon to the top of your deck. So just another way of searching Master Charmeleon. 1 Gagaga Cowboy, 1 Pappy, 1 Maestroke, and 1 Black Ship of Corn. 1 Diamond Direwolf, and 1 Abyss Dweller. That rounds up the Exceed monsters. If you want to run Utopia or Gemini Pearl, I suggest you may sometimes. It comes in handy. And finally, 1 King of the Feral Imps, guys. For your 2 Synchros, it's player preference. I won 1 Scrap Dragon and 1 Crimson Blader. Crimson Blader still comes in handy, and a 28 beat stick comes in handy as well. So that's the 2 level 8 Exceeds I run. You could run something else if you want to, guys. Feel free to. But that's my Gadget deck in a nutshell, guys. I can honestly say that the deck is very consistent. It has actually won me consistent matches and games multiple times. The deck in particular, I mean, if you want to change a few things, if you have suggestions, please feel free to tell me. But I've tweaked this deck. I've made it my own type of Gadget build for my personal playing style. And it works very, very well, and it's a very, very consistent deck. I honestly have to say it's one of the most consistent decks that I have ever made. In recent memory, that is. But till next time, guys, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling, and I'll see you guys next time. Seto Kaiba, I'm out of here, guys.